the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard, live with you downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up. Paul Charchian in 30 minutes. You're calling this the biggest regular season game in history. Why not?
Sure.
The loser goes to 14-3. They don't win their division, and they drop to the 5 seed. Yeah, great stuff. Mm-hmm. Steve Wiss, Best Bets in Soccer. Brad Powers, college football as well. And we have the Sugar Bowl starting, I think, in a couple of minutes. Now, if they were all fired up yesterday to, both teams, every side, and I get it, right? They want to play this early. The get-in price right now was like $12 before the game started, because people were like, "I did what? We plan to come down here and then we were going to leave on the 2nd. We can't make plans for this." And anyway, obviously, with the tragedy yesterday, and we've gotten to this point now, I hope they're going to kick off here in a couple of minutes, and it's not like some 3:26 Central Time kickoff after some big festivities at the beginning.
Let's go Irish. Let's get it done, right? Penn State, Notre Dame would be huge. Again, the teams have been horrific with the bye. It's been a big disadvantage, and this has been a hell of a Notre Dame team. Great rushing attack. Leonard's been awesome, and we'll see if what Stockton brings to the table here. It's a big unknown. While he was great in the second half against Texas, I think this is a big ask here, going against a big Notre Dame defense here and a solid Irish team.
Yep, totally agree. So on the screen right now, it appears as if it's going to close at Notre Dame 1, total 45.5 at most spots. I do see a 1.5 out there still, and that is at FanDuel and maybe a couple of other spots as well. Total is 45.5. I'll make my case for the under again.
Yeah.
A couple things here. So the Fighting Irish ran for 193 yards against Indiana, 98 on one play. The other 34 attempts equaled 95 yards. That's 2.8 yards per carry. Georgia allows 3.8 yards per carry and 129 yards per game. That is top 10 EPA per rush in the country, 24th overall in success rate. Georgia is 82nd in yards per carry on offense and 96th in rushing yards per game at a little bit more than 125. Notre Dame, of course, they're kind of up against it with the injuries, but you can say the same thing about the quarterback situation with Georgia. Riley Mills is out for the season, lost him for the Indiana game, the D-line, some other injuries as well. Gunnar Stockton, 62 dropbacks in his career. 20 versus Texas. He was 12 of 20, 4.4 yards per attempt, and a horrible INT. And I'll tie in again what Texas did on the ground against this Georgia defense in the regular season. In that loss, when that was pretty much over with at halftime, they ran for 29 yards and 1.1 yards per carry. After that game, they ran for 104 against Vandy. Not great, but it got better. Then 210 against Florida, $139 against Arkansas, 251 against Kentucky, and 243 against A&M before they ran for 31 yards against Georgia again in the SEC title game. My point is here, and Indiana's rush defense was very, very good. Take away that 98-yard run, and Notre Dame didn't do much. Maybe there's a path here where neither team can really run the football. Then it comes down to Stockton making plays as a guy who doesn't have much experience at all, and then Riley Leonard against an overall pretty decent Georgia defense. And I like him as an overall mobile quarterback, but to win a game or be super prolific passing the ball, we haven't really seen that much. And so I think there's an angle here where this game is going to be, 17-13,
Should be. Okay, on your angle, I played no score. First 5.5 minutes, $1.30, and I played first quarter under 10, minus 130.
I like those.
The other thing is, will the real Georgia stand up since the Clemson win? You gave up 41 points to Alabama. You beat Texas twice, but Texas outplayed you big time in the first half of the SEC title game, and Texas has been exposed here in the playoff. Clemson going up and down the field, Arizona State going up and down the field, and they should have lost to Arizona State. They were thoroughly outplayed and dominated by Ole Miss. They also, the game I can't get out of my mind, out of my head, is Georgia Tech. At home, average team, average ACC team, in a game they had to have, won 44-42. King threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 100 yards. And if they don't miss the targeting call, they lose that game. And if they can make one play defensively, they lose that game. So also you scored 44 and Beck was great in the second half. The unknown is what this guy can do and if he can do anything through the air as well. So also, though, I would say the winner has to love their spot because Penn State has not been impressive so far, and I guarantee you're not going to get 4 turnovers in the next game in the Orange Bowl. So it's right there for Notre Dame. They're favored. I think they should win this game.
I hope they
would
do.
pick them against Penn State, and Ohio State, Notre Dame would be the nuts, and I think that's where we could be headed.
So I'm personally here. I have both these teams to win the national title. I bet Georgia plus 625 after they had a loss this year. And I bet Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago at 12-1. That ticket pays much more than the Georgia ticket. So I did add a little bit on Georgia today at when I got to plus 105 on the money line to win the game outright. I actually hope I lose that ticket, and my Notre Dame future then is alive and kicking. And I think, like Notre Dame, depending, we'll see if anybody gets injured or not. But I think I would like Notre Dame against Penn State to advance. And I'm also going to probably add. I told you yesterday I was going to do this rollover parlay on Ohio State. So I bet the minus 135 on the money line yesterday. I have since rolled that ticket over at minus 210 on the money line against Texas. And I'm probably going to add them at plus 120 to win the national title because they are peaking right now. And this offense, I don't know where it was all year long. And we were on the air live yesterday for that Rose Bowl performance. Is any team close to them right now? I would have to say no to that. So I'd like to maybe, if in a perfect world for me, I bet Ohio State at plus 120. They beat Texas. Notre Dame wins today. They beat Penn State. And then I'm sitting there live with, a ticket that I've rolled over twice. I would roll over again, and I would have Ohio State at plus 120 and Notre Dame at 12-1. I could live with that.
What did you get no touchdown at?
80-1.
Okay. Not bad.
That would be, the Sugar Bowl a couple years ago with Georgia and Ohio State was incredible. And it was up and down the field, and 40-plus points were scored by both teams. I need the exact opposite here in this game.
Yeah.
Like scoreless at halftime, and I'll be pounding a beer on the air.
Great. Well, yeah, I'm with you. Let's do it. I like Stockton rushing yards over, too. 23.5. That should happen.
I think that makes sense, Paul.
Yeah. Back to what you said, too. How does Ohio State do this? Jeremiah Smith, Harrison Jr., JSN, Garrett Wilson. It's ridiculous, the talent that they have. And then this guy is so good, and now it's like just waiting for his time to go pro and become an NFL star.
Terry McLaurin, don't forget about him.
But I mean, it's just ridiculous how much talent they have in these wide receivers.
Well,
they can find them, and I know Ryan Day, Dan Wetzel told the story today about when Day got the information. He was meeting with the media, and he let a huge sigh of relief out once they got the commitment and they realized because this guy is a game changer and can just wreck your defense and wreak havoc. And that thing was over in the first quarter yesterday.
I love what you were saying to me before the show started. Like, what if Michigan just said, Jeremiah, you want 10, 15 million a year?
Yeah, it's a wild west
sure.
now.
You want to transfer over to us?
Right.
There's no commissioner.
No.
There are no rules in place, really.
If you're Phil Knight or Michigan and you just paid a quarterback an unknown $12 million, what would you pay for one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen? And you can steal him from Ohio State.
Right, and you saw that, and you had that feeling in your stomach watching him go up and down the field in the first half, and you had no answer for him whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the game was over with in the second quarter.
Sure. So it's like, well, he wouldn't do that. But everyone's got a price, right? Right, Luke? Everyone's got a price. So it goes back to... There we go, DiBiase. Yeah, great job, guys. So it goes back to it. You want to whatever you want to throw at me. Cam Ward had a price, $3.5 million.
Right,
okay,
right.
Miami worked out offensively. Defense didn't help them out. But it's like if you're going to throw these kids this kind of money, and then you mentioned the Ewers report on the air yesterday.
$6 million.
I mean,
for him?
if he's going to get $5-6 million, what could the best wide receiver get? Or you just see what the Michigan paid for the quarterback.
Right. So this would be a hot take, and I'll throw it out there. I don't think Oregon's ever going to win a national title in my lifetime. That's part of my brain.
Well, Phil Knight's trying, though. He
But
hopes so.
The other part of me is saying, well, Mitch, what if Phil Knight just says, I want to have a $75 million payroll? And that's probably the approach that he should take. He wants to win a title before he dies.
Yes, he does.
So just go out there this offseason, and here you go. Here he has an unlimited bankroll. And let's just pay the best players in the country to come here, one right after another, because I need to win that title before I die.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't do that, I'm quite confident in saying that they're never going to win a title. But if they do that and take that approach, they can.
Well, you know this, too. I mean, we've dated beautiful women, and a lot of people like to flex and show off. That's the perfect scenario with Michigan. Hey, it's a billionaire doing a favor for, was a girlfriend, wife, whatever it was. Hey, and she's a hardcore Michigan fan.
Right.
Okay, honey, here you go. You don't want the Birkin bag? You don't want the car? How about a quarterback? Because it's like, what? He's got that money in his sofa. Who cares? It's nothing, right? It's like Ballmer. When he met with the Sterlings, I'll pay $2 million or $2 billion. What do you? Okay. Sterling's like, you got the money? Yeah, I'll send it right over. Like Sterling didn't know who the guy was. He's like, yeah, I'm worth $30 billion. I can have it covered. No problem.
Come on, pull up your phone. It's going to get wired over in 19 seconds. Come on. Who are you kidding here? $2 billion?
Yeah,
chump change.
That was a great story. Got that, Sterling? You have that? You can send it over? Yeah, don't worry about it.
When people are worth, when you're getting up there into the tens of billions, beyond that, hundreds of billions, whatever it is, $15 million for a quarterback is $85 for us. Yeah. Whatever it is,
Well, and everyone wants to be a part of a winner.
Right.
This is why I think.
And by the way, college, to some people, college means everything. True. Like their alma mater means more than anything else.
True. This is why I think it's over for Alabama. Saban gone, and NIL levels the playing field. Now everyone gets paid. 4 losses now.
I would say that there's a pretty good chance, unless somebody like a Phil Knight or the SMU oil money.
Yeah, that's right. Billionaires all over the place.
Sure,
that's right.
They have $50 million payrolls every single year.
Good point by you, because that's the perfect storm. They sucked for so long, death penalty. They went to the school, billionaires. We don't need TV money for 9 years.
Right.
No problem. Yeah, that's a great example.
Crazy. Up next, Week 18 numbers, NFL motivation, a big question for this week. And how do you approach teams resting their starters? There's an angle that's 74% over the last 12 years. Details next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Good to have you on board. We are live till 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. And on Thursdays throughout the year, we talk to Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian. He's also with KFan Radio in Minneapolis. He joins us, as always, now on the Progressive Guest Line. Good to see you again, Charch. Happy New Year. How are you?
I tried to take a week off, and it didn't work. I can't quit you guys. That's the problem. I can't quit you.
Hey, it's all right. The game's too big. I had to bring you back.
It is. This is the biggest regular season game in the history of the Minnesota Vikings. The stakes have never been higher for any game than that.
Paulie's calling it the biggest regular season game in the history of the sport.
Wow. See, I was wondering about that, but I didn't want to just take such a Viking-centric game. When you look at what's on the line, the differential between winning and losing, and all of the records that this game has set. And I'm sure you've already talked about this during the week, but first ever regular season game between two teams that have won 13 games. Well, they won 14 actually, but no two teams that ever met before that had won 13. The last time 14-win teams have met, it's always been the conference championship.
Yeah.
This is a regular season game.
Yeah.
It's only the 4th time in NFL history that both teams are 10 games over 500. The winner in all 4 of those, by the way, went on to win the championship. That would be the Seattle Seahawks in 2005, Washington in 1983, and then 1926. The Frankfurt Yellow Jackets were the winner of between two teams that were 10 games over 500, and they went on to win the NFL championship as well. I did not know the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets were a thing until this week.
That's incredible knowledge right there. So Paulie and I know someone who has $20,000 on the Lions to win their division. He had to come back a couple of weeks ago and grab the Vikings at 7-1. I mean, can you imagine this? And I don't even know what the Vikings were before the season to win their division, right? Because the Lions and the Packers and the Bears, by the way, their win total was 9, and the Lions and the Packers had super high numbers. So imagine having either one of these teams, they win 14 games in the regular season, and you can't win a division bet on them.
You can't cash it. Unbelievable. It's historic.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some books have the Lions 2.5, others 3. As always, shop around. At the biggest offshore book in the world, the total the other night got to 58.5, which is nuts. But the total's back around 56 or 56.5. I don't know. You tell us where the stop's coming from.
Well, the Vikings do have the ability to create stops. Were we puntless on Monday night, by the way? I think there were no punts in that game.
Yes. No punts.
Yes.
No punts. I mean, and this is why I lean Vikings, although, I'm so emotionally invested in the Vikings. You should not take betting advice from me on this. But the Vikings defense is at least capable of generating stops, and particularly against the run. Now, here's what you need to know about the run, especially if you're looking at what the Vikings have given up over the last month, where it looks like the run defense has gotten a lot worse. They were playing some or all those games with their two missing linebackers that are critical to them, Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace. Now, when those two guys are in, the Vikings, by virtually every metric, have the best run defense in the NFL. And when those two guys are out, they fall right to the middle of the pack. And they're both playing in this game. And we saw them, last week they did the run defense only allowed 4 yards per carry. And this is where the Vikings can generate stops, is by slowing down Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, Gibbs ran through the Vikings in the last game, but Ivan Pace was missing for the last game when these teams met. Cashman was missing for that game. So, point being, I think the Vikings can generate some stops. And if Minnesota can stop the Lions like 3 times, 2 times, then I think the Vikings win. I think that's all it takes here. And maybe I'm not seeing it clearly, but the Lions defense is just so bad. And the Vikings coaches, this is, I think, an underrated point.
Yes.
The Vikings coaches have now had 3 days to figure out all of these off the street guys that are playing for the Lions and start picking apart the defects and why they were off the street. And, I think, we're seeing all the points that they've given up. I just think coaches are going to tear this thing apart. And I think the Vikings are going to put up a ton of points in this game against this defense. And I don't know that I can say the same thing against the Lions, when I know the Vikings have at least one method to slow down Detroit.
Well said. I agree. And Detroit's going to have to play a perfect game on offense to win these games, which means gambling, being super aggressive, going for every 4th down. You can't make a mistake. You're exactly right. So what do you think? Who eats for the Vikings? I mean, is it everybody? Is it Jefferson? Is it Addison? Darnold was phenomenal again last week.
Jefferson could have an extremely, extremely strong game. I mean, Kindle Vildor's on the field, which is an automatic go for me. And Jordan Addison has turned into one of the best separation receivers in the league. That guy is able to spin defenders, get separation, and Darnold's finding him. The guy, if Alex Anzalone comes back, their linebacker, and he's the one guy that could come back for this defense, he's one of the best coverage linebackers in the league, and that might tie up Hawkinson or maybe Aaron Jones out of the backfield. We liked Aaron Jones out of the backfield last week. And if it turns out that Anzalone goes, then that might dry up a little bit here. So that might be a distinction. But for the Vikings offense, I love the passing game in this one. Vikings coming off their best blocked game from a pass blocking standpoint of the entire season last week.
I'm guessing that you would like to play Sam Darnold 3+ touchdowns in this game in the air?
Absolutely in play.
Yeah.
Absolutely in play. And do you know what that number looks like?
It's not available yet. Books are going to be taking their time, I think, to post a lot of these props for Week 18.
Yeah, which I can understand, right? There's so many shifting sands in Week 18. Which teams have motivation, which ones don't, which are resting starters. I can understand that because it's hard. But the thing on this game is the motivation level is insane, off the charts high for both teams.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few variables here on the Sunday night game between Minnesota and Detroit. So I don't know why lines aren't getting posted earlier.
Well, to your point earlier, we don't have to do a lot on this. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They have to tinker with this system. I mean, if you lose, you're the 5. You have to go on the road, and then they might play in the second week of the playoffs as well, which is absolute lunacy. So, as a Hall of Famer, what do you think, and what do you make of what happened last week, and that the NFL is going to play on every Christmas now about, do we have to move up the championship games of fantasy because of the calendar?
Well, almost all fantasy leagues now have migrated from Week 18 to Week 17, and that's the right stopping point. So I think mostly they got this thing figured out. This was a bigger issue years ago when leagues were still playing the last week of the season. But I think most leagues have already figured that stuff out, Paulie. And we're looking at like 1% of leagues that are still playing.
To 16. To 16.
Yeah, just moved to 16.
16.
You're saying 16?
No,
well,
16.
yeah, but 17 still, people still Who did we lose last week?
We lost
I mean,
Hurts. The Tua thing was ridiculous. You have to put your stuff in early, and we had Wednesday games.
Games are spread out over 6 days. They're played on 5 different days, Charge.
Yeah, that is a fair point. And the data that you have for the Wednesday game is a lot of times super sketchy, but I don't see that changing soon.
You don't?
To be honest. Nope,
okay.
I don't.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I mean, I said this the other day on the air when Paulie asked me the question, and it's not going to be as bad next year because I think Christmas is going to be on a Thursday. But when they play Christmas games on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, right, in future years, I'm going to have to tell the commissioners, look, we're going to have to bump these up to week 16. I'm just going to have to.
Yeah. Look, if you want to crown the right team, that's the way to do it for sure. You want to be 100% confident. You'd have to end it in 16, and take out those variables that come with weird Tuesday, Wednesday games.
Yeah.
But if you feel like overwhelmingly, there's a couple of teams that are going to be affected, but not every NFL team, and we'd rather have the extra week of play, I think that's a defensible position as well. It's not in week 18.
Yep. I'm seeing right now, actually, some books have posted numbers for this game already. So Sam Darnold's passing yards prop is 278.5, the lowest number that I can see. Mm-hmm. And the passing touchdowns prop, I'm only looking at one book. I'll keep digging. 1.5, but the over is minus 205.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think if they played this thing 10 times, you'd hit the over on 8 of them. So I don't like that number, but still, I'd take a 50% return on my money and take the over on the 1.5. In part because the Lions' run defense, with all the problems they've had, their run defense has still been pretty good. They shut down Isaac Guerrero and DeAndre Swift the past 2 weeks. Although in the games before that, Buffalo's runners totaled 285 yards. And then the game before that, Josh Jacobs scored 3 times. But, so they're going to have some lapses. But the run defense has still been reasonably good. So I just think the Vikings points are going to come through the air where they're going to throw at will. Brock Purdy, as broken down and as that offense was, he was unstoppable through the air for Pete's sake. And this offense is going so much better.
Guys were wide open the whole game.
Wide open.
Yep.
Well, I mean, at least you've never set yourself up to feel, heartbreak before as a Minnesota sports fan.
Never.
So
no.
What could possibly go wrong on Sunday night?
No. Knowing us, our stadium could collapse. We could, we could have some kind of like weird blimp that flies into the headquarters for the Vikings and explodes and, like 9 players down. But we'll probably save all that for the NFC Championship game.
Yeah,
I would think
that makes more sense.
That's where we really love to do the joke job is right there. 6 straight losses in NFC Championship games.
All right, buddy. Good luck this weekend. Thank you for the time. We appreciate that.
Thank you. We deserve a win over here in Minnesota. I mean, the Lions fans do too. They deserve the win as well. But, man, we'd like to win.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Win-lose coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
If you're the kind of player who wants to drop $10,000 or more on NFL line at the best price in the market, you need Sport Trade. You want those in-game plays to be bet right away. Need Sport Trade, revolutionizing sports betting. $4 lines instead of the standard $10. Instant in-game betting. Player service. Sport Trade delivers a premium betting experience like no other. Live in Jersey, Colorado, Iowa, Arizona, and Virginia. Download Sport Trade today. Code VSiN. 10% cash back on every wager during your first week. Got to be 21 or older to play. Code VSiN. Download Sport Trade today.
All right, it's 13-3 at halftime. Notre Dame leads Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Second half numbers here at Circa. Georgia laying 1.5. Total is 21. Juiced 20 cents to the over. And professional sports bettor Brad Powers joins the program now. He's on X at BradPower7, BradPowerSports.com on the Progressive Guest line. Happy New Year, Brad. We appreciate this like you wouldn't believe. We're talking about this during the break. Can you figure out what Kirby Smart was doing there at the end of the second quarter?
No. I mean, I guess I can see it because they have had some success throwing the football. But you got a young quarterback. You're less than a minute. Just, what you don't want to happen is what happened. You get the strip sack, and then Notre Dame gets a touchdown on a short field. And, I mean, the 2 turnovers are disastrous. Turnovers are always bad, but when you turn the football over in Notre Dame's red zone, when you're going in for an early score, and then you give Notre Dame the ball in your own red zone, that's the difference in the game right now.
25-yard line, 2 touchdowns, 37 seconds, backup quarterback. Doesn't make any sense to me. What do you think of the second half now?
I mean, I think the first two drives, like always critical, especially for Notre Dame. They get the ball first and second half, and they got to be thinking, and you would think they try to be a little bit aggressive. If they can get a touchdown on that drive, I mean, it's going to be a significantly uphill climb for Georgia with the backup quarterback. So I actually think Notre Dame should be aggressive. I like Georgia. I thought for a majority of that half they were a little bit better team.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lay the 1.5 with them in the second half. I will say this. I tweeted it was 3-0, and I thought was going to be another underrated play was a stupid penalty on the sideline that they would have had the ball at the 11-yard line.
Yes.
I tweeted it. I'm like, because I thought it was going to be 1st and 10th, 11. I said, oh, Georgia's bigger, stronger, faster. I think they're the right side. Thank you for everybody that bet Notre Dame into a favorite. And then since then, it's Notre Dame 13-0.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Up until that point, just watching the game, we were live on the air, so we might miss a couple of things. I thought Georgia looked like they were probably a better team. And if it wasn't for Riley Leonard running the football on these like design draws the way it appeared, they were doing nothing on the ground against that defense.
No, they haven't. I mean, where's Jeremiah Love at? I mean, he's not even on getting them the ball. He's not even on the field to get the ball. So I'd like to see, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you'd like to see him on the field a little bit more in the second half. But yeah, for a while there, I thought Georgia was a better team. But when you make costly mistakes like they have, and again, that penalty was huge. I mean, when have you ever seen that, a 15-yard penalty called on a player on the sidelines running into the official? I mean, just disastrous.
Yeah. So you bet Georgia minus 1.5 second half. Any opinion on the total of 21?
Honestly, I'd lean more over. I think you're going to get Georgia throwing it. They can't run the ball. What do they got? 10 yards rushing? Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. You'd think they were going to lean on that a little bit. No, they're going to be pass happy. And Notre Dame started moving it at the end, even before obviously the final touchdown. So over for me.
I saw your tweet. Sorry, I saw your tweets. I echo your sentiments. This luck factor with Penn State getting 4 turnovers every game. What do you think of the winner against Penn State?
Well, again, I want to bet against Penn State. I don't think they're that great. They're a good team, not a great team. But once again, they're going to have 2 full days of extra prep compared to this one. And this one's been a war at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, it's always number dependent. It's going to be, unless something drastically happens here, it's going to be less than a field goal. I would think the winner of this game be maybe a 1 or 2 point favorite. Boy, I need a 3 to show to bet Penn State, but the situational edge is there for them.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. No doubt. What about the other game? Let me ask you this. Ohio State now favored by 6 over Texas. What did you make that number before the games were played yesterday?
Ohio State like 1.5.
Okay.
So, that's a massive adjustment. I'm not there at 6. I don't move my power ratings that much at this point in time of the year, but I'm more in that 4.5, 5 range. You would think, you got a point and a half. You got to make a big bet, Brad, at this point in the season. Nah, I'm not really. I need a 7 to bet Texas. I would need like a 4 to show to bet the Buckeyes. I'm guessing we're going to finish somewhere in the middle. So no bet on the side right now for me.
Yeah, I think it's not going to touch 7. I mean, that was the initial reaction yesterday, I think, from some in the Rose Bowl. Like it could go to 7. It did get to 6.5 yesterday. So I don't see any path where this gets to 7. You?
No, I don't. That's just too much this time of the year.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, if I had the crystal ball and you told me, hey, Ohio State's going to play like they just did the last 2 games again, I would be more than happy to lay 7. Probably lay 17.
That was crazy. I mean, so what's the takeaway then from this? Just that every team that had the layoff and the bye, like that's bad for them? Is that the overall, I guess, observation from the playoffs now that we're at this point?
I think it's too small of a sample size yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all you have. So, you got to react to it a little bit. But I think I'm anxious to see what happens next year. If it happens 2 years in a row, then obviously. I think a lot of it has to do with, the seeding was messed up. The better teams are winning so far. Hell, even Notre Dame was favored in this game. So,
yep.
That's what's happening more than that. Everybody wanted to cry, expand the playoffs. But now you're starting to see that there's still a disparity between the haves and have-nots of college football. I think there's more. There used to be maybe 2, 3 teams that could win it all. Maybe that number's 4, 5, maybe even 6 now. But it certainly ain't 12.
No, I think you're spot on with that. And by the way, forget about the Ohio State offense, as good as they were yesterday for a second. Here was my biggest takeaway from their defensive performance yesterday. So they get up to a 34-0 lead. You would think at some point they're going to relax and, Oregon's going to have some. Nothing came easy for Oregon when they fell down. That to me blew my mind. I mean, that was so impressive from Ohio State. That Gabriel is so good. He's played 100 games in college. They have a ton of skilled guys, and everything was a struggle.
That defensive front, particularly those two senior edges, are playing like you thought, playing up to their 5-star ability when they came out of high school. So very experienced players. My biggest takeaway from the Buckeyes is, were they going meta? Were they, going less optimal all season because they knew what they had? Or I don't think I can give Ryan Day that much credit, because you don't want to lose to Michigan on purpose. But maybe they thought they could just, roll out their conservative game plan and beat Michigan. And it's obvious they've been conserving this passing attack on offense.
Any thoughts on the late game?
Late game tonight, lean under. No big bet there.
Okay. How about
I have no idea what Lane Kiffin's going to be. I mean, they can win by 40 or lose the game outright. I mean, just too much variance for me for them.
How about the doubleheader Friday? You really is Minnesota too high now? You gave it out at what, 6?
I still lean that way. I bet both. I bet the under and open on the Texas State North Texas game. There's just too many opt-outs. I mean, I don't think either offense can be fully optimal. And then I just ACC stinks. Big Ten's better. BJ Fleck's good in bowl games. Virginia Tech has a dozen starters out. I mean, Minnesota is one of my favorite bowl plays of the year. So I still lean that way even after a massive move.
Okay. And how about Monday Night Football with the title game, FCS?
I haven't deep dived into that one. Initial gut would say North Dakota State, especially at 3.5.
All right.
Okay.
Good for them. Good for them. They hit the stage of themselves.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very good time slot for them.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you, man, for coming on. Yeah. We know that you're a Notre Dame fan as well, so we'll let you get back, obviously.
I'm nervous, but I also got a lot of money on Georgia, so either way, I'm a winner or a loser.
Yep.
That's true.
There you go. Thanks, Brad. We appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Take care. Happy New Year, guys.
There you go. He joined us on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow him on X at BradPower7, BradPowerSports.com.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't. Backup quarterback. 2 timeouts, 30 seconds. Come on, man. Oh, that's silly. And now Notre Dame gets the ball. And now that opens things up for the total too.
I could see it if they missed the field goal. You have better field position.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's only 3-3 still.
Yeah. It's a 6-3 game. Where are you going? You've made 2 plays the whole half.
Yep.
You got Tom Brady back there.
The 2 turnovers are so big. Etienne, inside the red zone, picking up 6 yards. Fumbles as they're going to maybe go in and score a touchdown. No good. Notre Dame gets the ball, and then that one, as a direct result, Notre Dame scored a touchdown off of another just bad play by Georgia. But again, here Adam Burke called this on our show yesterday. Maybe take a peek at Notre Dame. The way the games were trending with these teams having the extra time off, he said maybe take a peek at Notre Dame first half against Georgia, because it's been affecting everybody. And so, who knows? Did that really factor into this? Is that really a result? It's easy to sit here and say, yeah, based on the results it is, and that's why Notre Dame has a lead and every other team did as well, but...
More design runs for Leonard.
Yeah.
And I would even just do the, drop back, don't throw the ball, take off and run. It's the best part of their offense right now.
Yeah. How about this? A quarterback announced he's going pro today. For what? Which day does he get drafted on? Is it going to be day 3? We'll kick that around coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Fighting Irish forced Georgia to punt. Notre Dame gets the ball back here, early stages, third quarter, holding on to a 20-3 lead. In-play number here, Irish 14.5, total 42.5. Georgia just dropped from 8-1 to 7-1 and back to plus 750 on the money line in this game. They took a shot deep. It was incomplete. They wanted the flag, no good. It was a 3rd and 8, and they could not pick it up, hence the punt. And now Notre Dame comes out, obviously, and running the football. And that is basically going nowhere. They want this game. They want to burn as much clock as humanly possible here.
Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
baby.
we don't need any shenanigans here going over 45.5. Let's not get stupid. Okay. Great number, Steve Makinen, vsin.com. Your gut reaction, I think, if you just asked anybody, like, looking at the card this week, well, Chiefs aren't playing anybody, right? Denver laying a big number, got to bet them. Same thing like Ravens, Browns, got to have the game for the division, laying a huge number. How many guys are out for the Browns now?
Njoku's out. Ward's out. Who's the other guy who's out? Ford's out. Ford, Ward, and Njoku are all out. And they announce Zappe's the quarterback, and the line goes up. And DTR's the worst quarterback I've ever seen, maybe since Spurgeon win. It's up to 20 now. Zappe's won some games. I mean, DTR with a 1-10 touchdown INT ratio in his career.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
20.
It's one of the biggest point spreads like in history. That's what we're talking about in this game. So, like the Rams, Sean McVay has said this now numerous times this week, like his show that he does in other various outlets, like we're sitting guys. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a Garoppolo game. There's going to be no Kyren Williams. People can't wait to bet Blake Corum props in this game. They think he's going to have a huge spot. But again, where's the motivation for Seattle here? So My point is, Steve Makinen, again, vsin.com, if you go back and look, over the past 13 years, the team resting its starters, ATS, are 20-14-2. That's 59% will round up. That's in week 17 and 18. Road teams resting starters are 16-17 straight up, 23-8-1 ATS. That's 74%. 7 outright upsets, by the way, during that time. And games of this nature, as he writes, tend to be higher scoring than expected. Over the total is 28-13. That is 68% since 2010, with the games producing 45.4 points per game on average and totals averaging 40.9 points. So you might just think, okay, second stringers in there, not going to be a lot of offense, get out there low scoring. It's been the exact opposite now, going on a decade and a half, essentially. Great job there by Makinen and running all those numbers again at vsin.com.
Having a hard time with this week. Need more information. Waiting for these coaches to come out and give me something good other than Dan Quinn and the McVay. But then again, I'm not doing that with the Seahawks. No way. Otten, Winfield back at practice for the Bucs. Kamara, Carr, still no practice. Imagine the drama if Olave, Carr, and Kamara come back. Juicy now. Suddenly no gimme for Tampa. Richardson didn't practice again. Hill will not play for the Ravens. McLaurin upgraded, full participant at practice today. Josh Jacobs, being realistic, I don't think I'm going to get many carries in the game. Okay. All right. And even though it appears that the Chargers, you want to play to win the game, I guess you have to see what happens with the Saturday night game with the Steelers, but Raider money today. Chargers were up to 6. It's now 4.5 in that game.
Are you surprised by that?
Yes, I am. But I guess, it's a wait-and-see approach. It's no need to play anybody if the Steelers win. But I think the Bengals are going to beat the Steelers. And then the Chargers to get the 5. You're right. I mean, go to Houston, please. You're going to win that game.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be afraid of Kansas City. You hung tough in both matchups.
I want to see the Bengals win this game. And then I want to see the Chiefs have like a 10-0 lead over the Broncos at halftime.
What do you think of that game? You agree with Von Tobel-Newman? It's out of control. 11 now, Denver.
That's a huge number.
Yeah. I mean, Wentz is a veteran. He's won games, but
sure he
goes back to what if it's a skeleton crew out there? Who are you working with? Who are you throwing to? Everything I just said about how bad Denver's defense has been down the stretch.
Right. To me, it's not even close. The AFC playoffs get so much more interesting if the Bengals make it and the Broncos don't. I would love to see that happen. Burrow will throw the fear of God into these teams in the AFC. Mm-hmm. And again, too many people are going to pick them to come out and be a sleeper team to win the AFC when their defense is still a problem. But that guy has had just an insane year. By the way, did you hear this on Monday night? I meant to bring this up to you earlier in the week. Did you hear Troy Aikman on the broadcast?
I can't recall. Okay, what did he say?
He's not the only person to say this. Aikman said flat out, when they were promoting that game, the Bengals game against the Steelers. He said, I don't have a vote.
Oh, no.
But if I did, Joe Burrow would be my MVP.
Oh, God. I missed that.
He said it.
Oh, my God. They have 8 losses. Because then Zach Taylor said it after the game when they beat Denver. You're 500. I know he's had a great year. He doesn't play defense. That's asinine. Come on. And especially what Lamar's done. And at least Josh Allen carrying his team here and going to get the 2 seed. Come on. They're 8-8.
Stockton taking a shot. He's got to go wide open, and he dropped it. He just dropped it at the 10-yard line. Would have been a gargantuan gain. Right in his hands. Took a shot deep. Hits him right in the hands. There's not even a defender on the screen. Oh, my God. Sorry, at the 20-yard line.
Yeah. What do you think of his comments?
Again, he's not the only person to say it. Here's the thing.
Come on. Let's be serious now.
So what would have to happen for the Bengals, for Joe Burrow, in your mind, to win the MVP? Is a playoff team good enough?
No. I don't understand the move in the market either. He ticked down to like 15-1, didn't he?
That's because people are saying that he should win it, like Aikman and others.
What they're going to do is give him the comeback player of the year. I think they'll do that and say he's had such an incredible year that he's got to win something.
Well, that to me is what's going to happen with Sam Darnold.
Yeah?
I don't think people are going to ignore what Sam Darnold has done. And by the way, for the record, I don't have a problem with like 5 guys win the MVP. I honestly, I don't have a strong opinion this year. I'm okay with Lamar. I'm okay with Josh Allen. I'm okay with Barkley. Give it to Goff or Darnold. I don't care.
Okay, why is Burrow better than Goff? Why does he have better odds than Goff?
I don't know.
Goff can't be 80-1 and Burrow's 15-1. Especially if they win Sunday.
It's funny the way people are picking, they pick and choose over this. Again, if Goff wins on Sunday night and they're 15-2 and he has a great game, will we ever see this again?
Yeah.
Where the quarterback on the 1 seed on a 15-win team has basically no chance to win the MVP.
Uh-huh. I agree with you. It's
wild.
He had the clunker on national TV and everyone saw it. But other than that, he's been gold. And the pressure he's under, they got to be perfect.
They have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Don't you like the Vikings team total over in that game?
I like Vikings everything.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Taking plus the 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got to do it. I'm with Charge. Why, there's nobody there. Come on, Irish.
2nd and 7, big pickup for a first down there. We'll call it about 11 yards. Coming up on 10 minutes to play now in this game.
There's so many tough games here. And you got to pick 5 for contests and the nitty-gritty.
I know.
And what's going to happen. Do you want to lay the points with Atlanta when Tampa could open up a can on New Orleans? You just saw what Jacob said. You think the Bears want to show up finally and look like an NFL outfit, catching 10 against Green Bay?
I'll tell you what,
Packers
Paulie.
motivation, again, same thing. You look up maybe Washington's pounding Dallas.
After what happened last week when the Colts had to have the game, wide open, touchdown Georgia. There you go. 9:36. This game's going to fly over the total.
Mm-hmm. Everything's flipped now.
Fly over the total.
Yeah, they're going to be throwing every down.
What's the in-play total here? 47.5. Okay.
Horrible coverage.
All right. So 45.5 was an absolute dream come true in the first half. And now the in-play total is 47.5. What I need to happen, and I have a bet on under 45.5. I need the Irish to come out, take some time off the clock, not score, maybe punt, and then just get off my bet. That's what I'm looking to do. We're getting points in this game, boys.
Good drive. Kid look good.
I also do not want to middle myself, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to have the reverse middle here, so I got to wait to see if this number is going to come back down. All right, what's he up to now? The 242.5 that we bet. He's up to. Oh, it hasn't clicked in yet. Is he at 200 yards? My box score is behind. They don't have Georgia scoring yet.
Hold on. 209.
He's at 209.
209.
All right. 242.5. I like that. 300 now, plus 490 in play.
It didn't look good. Guy's wide open several times on the drive.
Yeah, multiple times.
Clean it up.
There you go. We got ourselves a ball game, Johnny.
Yeah.
Let's get that Georgia-Penn State look-ahead number. Still 2? Notre Dame 2?
Nice.
We'll expand on the Sunday night game coming up next. Paul Charchian has a strong opinion on the game, and we'll update Super Contest Gold. $5,000 an entry, winner take all here in Las Vegas.
Stupid.